Imagine walking through an airport, people are lining up at security, suitcases roll across the floor, flights are being announced over the speakers, everything feels normal, routine, predictable. But suddenly, a man stands up from his chair. He looks around the room, not casually, not the way. Someone looking for their gate would. No, this look is different. His eyes dart from one corner of the room to another, like someone being hunted. Then without warning, he sprints. Not toward the exit, not toward security, but toward the outside of the airport, past the parking lot, past the taxis, straight into a nearby forest. And that is the last time anyone ever saw him. No body. No phone activity. No confirmed sightings and nothing. Just a single haunting video recorded by an airport security camera, showing the moment a man named Lars Mittank ran out of an airport and disappeared from the world forever. Before Lars became the center of one of Europe's most baffling disappearances, he was just an ordinary 28-year-old man from Germany. Lars lived in a quiet town called Varna in northern Germany. He wasn't famous. He wasn't involved in crime. He didn't live a dangerous life. In fact, most people who knew him described him as calm, friendly, and responsible. He worked at a power plant and spent most of his time with family and close friends. Like many young people, Lars enjoyed traveling when we had the chance. So in the summer of 2014, he and a group of friends planned a short vacation. Their destination, the Bulgarian Black Sea coast. Specifically, the resort city of Varna. Varna was known for its beaches, nightlife, and cheap holiday packages that attracted thousands of tourists every year. For Lars and his friends, the trip was simple. Relax the drink. Enjoy the beach. Return home. But somewhere during those few days, something went terribly wrong. On the final night of the vacation, Lars and his friends went out to celebrate. They visited bars. They walked along the beach. And eventually, they ended up in a crowded nightclub. What happened next is still unclear. According to later reports, Lars had an argument with a group of other men. The fight didn't last long, but it was enough. At some point during the confrontation, Lars was punched near his ear. At first, the injury didn't seem serious, but ear injuries can be dangerous, especially when flying. The next morning, Lars complained of pain and pressure in his ear. His friends encouraged him to see a doctor, so he visited a local medical clinic. The doctor examined him and delivered news that would completely change the course of the story. Lars had a ruptured eardrum. Flying with that condition could cause severe complications. So the doctor gave him strict instructions: do not fly. At least not yet. He prescribed medication and recommended that Lars wait several days before boarding a plane. For Lars, this created a problem. His friends were scheduled to return to Germany that same day. The flights were already booked. They couldn't easily change them, so they made a difficult decision. They would return home as planned, and Lars would stay behind for a few extra days until he was cleared to fly. At the time, it seemed like a small inconvenience. But in hindsight, that decision would become the moment everything changed. After saying goodbye to his friends, Lars checked into a cheap hotel near Varna Airport. The place was called Hotel Color. It was quite simple. Nothing unusual. He called his mother in Germany to let her know what happened. At first, the conversation was completely normal. He explained the ear injury. He told her he would wait a few days. Then he would fly home. But later that night, things changed. Around midnight, Lars called his mother again. This time, his voice sounded different, nervous, uneasy. He told her something strange. He said a group of men had been following him. According to Lars, these men were connected to the fight from the nightclub. He believed they were looking for him, and he was scared. His mother tried to calm him down. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe the medication was affecting him. But Lars insisted something wasn't right. He told her he was hiding. Then he ended the call. Over the next several hours, Lars called his mother multiple times. Each call became more alarming. He claimed people were watching him. He said someone was trying to kill him. At one point he told her, "Mom, please cancel my credit cards." She asked why. His answer made no sense. "They're trying to poison me." His mother was deeply worried, but she was thousands of kilometers away in Germany. There was nothing she could do except listen. The last call that night ended abruptly. After that, Lars stopped answering. The next morning, Lars appeared at a pharmacy near his hotel. Security cameras later showed him walking inside. Witnesses described his behavior as strange. He seemed anxious, paranoid, constantly looking over his shoulder. He purchased antibiotics for his ear infection. But while waiting for the medication, something happened. Suddenly, he left the pharmacy. Not calmly, but quickly. Almost like he was escaping. He walked down the street and disappeared from the camera view. By now, his mother was extremely concerned. She begged him to return home as soon as possible. So Lars decided to try one more thing. He would go to the airport and ask if he could fly despite the injury. That decision would lead to the final moment anyone ever saw him. On July 8, 2014, Lars arrived at Varna Airport. He entered the terminal like any other passenger. Suitcase in hand, passport ready. But before boarding any plane, he needed approval from the airport doctor. So he walked into the small medical office inside the terminal. This moment was captured by airport security cameras. The footage shows Lars sitting in a chair while the doctor examines him. At first, everything appears normal. The doctor checks his ear. They speak calmly. But then, Lars suddenly looks toward the doorway. His expression changes instantly to fear. Pure fear. He begins whispering something to the doctor. No one knows exactly what he said. Then, he stands up. He backs away from the chair. And suddenly, he runs. Not walking. Not jogging. Running as fast as he possibly can. He bursts out of the medical office. He sprints through the airport hall, past confused passengers, past airport staff, and straight out the front door. Security cameras capture the final moments. Lars runs across the parking lot, climbs over a fence, and disappears into a nearby forest. After that moment, he is never seen again. The mystery was only beginning, because in the days that followed, people would begin asking terrifying questions. Was Lars running from someone? Was he suffering from paranoia? Or had he discovered something so dangerous that running into the forest felt safer than staying? In the airport?